Here we are in the rotunda of the Louisiana Capitol. With me is State Representative Ken Cox. Representative Cox, thank you so much for being on there today. We appreciate you. You know, we just had Sine Die a few minutes ago here at the Capitol, and one of the reasons why I grabbed you, I'm gonna say this publicly. People need more people like we need more people like you in government. You like to say you're just a good old country boy, but your legislation is really conscientious of the people of the state when I look at it. And I want to say I appreciate that you didn't get into the fray on all this budget stuff, it seems, but you got into the fray when it comes to veterans.
Well, yeah, but the things I came here down, I would take care of my veterans, take care of people, take care of veterans, take care of people, uh, and my well, basically, I started out with a bill. I think it's 167, and what it did was it allows all veterans with any disabilities to go to school, state schools, and any money they don't have from the GI Bill, it waives the
State fees.
state fees, and that's a major move.
Right.
The other bill was with
Well, you've got, let's see, you have 164, which lowers the minimum ACT score.
well, this was a thing that the first time in 12 years we don't have skilled labor here, and what's happening, we have some, but we don't have enough trained skilled labor. So it came out of session for the first time in 12 years, and now people realize we don't have skilled labor. It's kind of late.
Yeah.
But what I did was I used it as a device to talk to not the administration, but to the who was Bessie and all those guys about the bill. And
Sometimes the conversation.
well, the conversation, absolutely, it allowed us to have them test work keys, and I put work keys in there many years ago. And these work keys is for kids who, they don't test very well in the top arena, but they'll do well on the work keys.
Yeah.
And we can bring in some welders, electricians, plumbers, and it'll be paid for by TOPS. What they're also going to do is they're going to train these guys to take work keys and pay for the first test.
Right.
They haven't done that for the other things, so it's to me it was a win-win. Even though the bill
And
got
that's
stopped in
pending House.
appropriation,
It's pending House appropriation, so it's dead. It's DOA right
it's
now.
DOA, but it's alive.
Okay.
It's alive because I got them to do what they do for the TOPS guys, to do it for work keys, which allows us to be able to get our guys to opportunity to be tested so that they can go, because they can score on this test to allow them to get TOPS Tech. And that's what I've been doing for 12 years. And I accomplished everything I've been here, everything I started to do. This was the hardest thing to do and the most needed. Of course, we need money.
So it says pending appropriations, but it's gonna go. This is going to go to the governor's desk.
Nope.
Nope.
No.
You see, this is disappointing because it's such a good bill.
It's not disappointing because I got something out of it.
Okay.
I got them to train the work keys to kids. They weren't doing that.
There we go.
And so now the work keys is going to allow them to pass because it's an easier test. I mean, it's more hands-on like
Right.
this. And that's what we needed. And then, I work with Ken Brass with the Patriot Act, which allows veterans, National Guard, the state now pays for their education. It had got out of whack. This bill changes it, and it's also going to help with recruiting for our forces. What people don't know, I'm the chairman of Veterans Affairs.
Okay.
And Military and Veterans Affairs. So what it's allowed us to do is to increase our forces, and it allows them to get training, so we're living up to our word. Also, I wish we could have let the VA and Veterans Affairs, the National Guard and stuff, brief, because we're like number 43 in the nation and number 1 in a lot of other events. We go to war, and we got guys that are out there now.
Right.
And so what we've done is we've hit a double whammy for the veterans and for kids, just kids in school. with the tops, and everybody was they sometimes you get somewhere you
Right.
think you got it and you don't have it, but I knew that this would work,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
and, and so I held.
But a lot of your stuff is for just the average old
Yeah, that's exactly
country boy
right.
type person.
Absolutely. I'm just old.
Veterans,
I come from a little small town called Coachella, Louisiana. I live in Mansfield, but I'm for the little guy,
yeah.
man. But without the little guy, we don't have America.
But what I like about your bills, it helps people who don't want to go to college. They need the
Absolutely.
technical skills. It helps our veterans who want to go to college.
Absolutely.
And so
And then it
you
helps our vets when they get out of college.
exactly
And if they got any kind of disability, I want them to have the same right as
the
100%.
same opportunities.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I love this. You've got let's see that was a tuition waiver
Let me
for
see.
certain.
I had
You have a
something else.
tuition waiver for certain disabled veterans.
And,
That we talked about that
yeah.
one. We've
And
got a wildlife and
Well,
fisheries
let me
one.
tell you what that did. We were giving hull numbers out. We were giving hull numbers out to by the batches to boat makers. But what was happening was they don't meet the float safety standards. So we got that taken care of. Now all they got to do is they said, well, we got to go. They got to go to the Coast Guard, and they will issue them the ticket after they pass the inspection, which is good. I personally felt that we were giving those away, and there was a possibility the state could have been liable. So we wanted to get that off the back of the people too, because when you take money away from Louisiana, you take it away from the veterans, you take it away from just the kids, you
Exactly.
take it away, and so. But I do have some concern, and that is that our health and hospital children's services. I mean, we're going to have to do something there because I feel like there is a problem in the wind. So people ought to look at the budget and see where it came out with them.
So this is your last term,
This is it, man.
and so we don't get any more of this type of legislation.
Maybe
But
not.
but it sounds to me like you're so passionate, you may be working the sidelines to continue to help the next rep to make these changes, huh?
Yeah, and it possibly can, but this is what my wife told me. She said 13 years. 13 years.
13 years.
I hadn't taken her on a vacation. So I'm going to go take my wife on a vacation. I'm termed out, and I'll figure out what I may be able to do for Louisiana later on. But it's been a very interesting ride. The election itself was one of the hardest things I did. This was harder than war, because in war, if you kill somebody, they won't end up fighting you again.
Well,
on
not
the
only
other
have
side.
you been in battle and the military, but you were in the Pentagon the day on 9/11 when that plane hit that building, and we told your story on another podcast last year.
Right.
And I want to remind people, they always go see that,
Yeah.
remind people that your passion for our country and for our veterans and for our state comes from your own service.
Absolutely.
And I want to thank you not only for that, but thank you for your passion to really help.
Well, I wrote a book. What's my book name? Make them remember your name.
Make 'em
is what
remember
it's
your
named. A story about 9/11, the inside story. It's on Amazon. Look up Lieutenant Colonel Kenny Cox. It's a good book to read. I took the monkey off my back.
Yeah,
In other words, when I wrote about it, I felt better about myself.
right.
Because veterans who are out there, they're not out there because, they hide and go and sleep on the bridge and stuff. They're out there because they don't want to hurt anybody, and you don't understand what they're going through. And unless you've been to war, you don't.
Right.
And so the bottom line is I consider this have been a good year for me. This was the end, and I help people get health care. I help people in the educational arena. And I was able to finish it up with a really good move with the TOPS Tech and doing work keys, which I think is going to really help the state as a whole and have some workers. Right now, you can't find workers.
Thank you for being so pro-military, and thank you for being so pro-Louisiana. And
Yeah.
one last question for you. They just passed the budget.
Hmm.
They raised, everybody voted, the majority raised, you voted to raise the spending cap
And we gave
uh,
teacher raise.
and gave teachers a raise. And there's some projects coming out.
Yep.
And I'm going to be doing some other shows with people on both sides of the aisle of the spending, raising or whatnot, or not raising the spending budget. But I think ultimately what we're going to see come out is some projects in Louisiana.
Yeah.
And
And you know, I was there during the Bobby Jr. years. You know, he pretty much raped Louisiana. I'm just going to be straight about it. And it took us 6 sessions, I think, to just get out of the hole. And now we're going into a situation where whoever's the next governor will have some money to work with, and that's good too, because you don't want to be like what happened with us. It was really painful.
well, I'm going to be optimistic that the money that's going to be spent is going to be done in a very frugal, conservative way, so that way Louisiana
I do
does.
believe it will be.
All right.
And they got, I mean, you know, everybody's got their hand on it, and we was almost running out of time. And you know, one time before we went into a special session,
All right.
man, I didn't get home till about 2. I mean, I got home at 4 o'clock in the morning, and I was so mad. And a lot of people had vacations and all this stuff, and they missed them.
You don't have.
Oh man, so you know, hopefully we don't have any special sessions. Hopefully that the people in Louisiana will understand that, you know, I'm a God-fearing man, and I'm wishing them a blessed holidays, and I want them to understand that, you know, my mother told me when I left college, keep God first and buy land. I'll give you that advice too.
God first and buy land. I love it. Representative Cox, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Everybody, keep this country boy not only in your prayers, but let's pray that he stays involved for our veterans' sake. Thank you so much, everybody. Here we got more videos coming up.
Y'all be blessed.